Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Rozy.
And I'm Shorty.
And this is
Skate Sunday.
This is...
We don't have a lot of, businesses. We got another business. We're here to talk business. We're here to talk.
We're here. This is the Derby episode part 2.
Part 2. So we talked to Doc about our local Derby community, but now we have a special treat.
Yeah, we got Derby Warehouse in the building.
Yes, we have Nadia and Forrest of Derby Warehouse. They're here. They're going to talk Derby to us. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk Derby setups. Yeah. We're going to talk safety. We're going to, maybe set you up get you a nice pair of skates to be riding.
Yeah, get some good recommendations because, I'm a new Derby player or whatever, so I definitely need to know because I have no clue where to start. And I know that Nadia and Forrest will put us on the right path and, like you said, put everybody else on. A huge thank you to our sponsors, Derby Warehouse. We're an affiliate. Use our affiliate link in the bio or down in the description below for all your roller skate needs. They have skates, protective gear, apparel, and so much more. I've even seen that they have Heelys and Epic Grind shoes. So what are you waiting for? Head over to Derby Warehouse using our affiliate link and get everything you need to make your roller dreams come true. And if you prefer inlines or ice skates, we also have affiliate links to Inline Warehouse and Ice Warehouse. So check out our links below, and thank you, Derby Warehouse. A big thank you to Tutia Skates for sponsoring this episode. Tutia Skates is a Black and Indigenous-owned small brand based out of Virginia. They are a sister-owned company that prides itself on their unique products. They design custom clothing and accessories for the skate community and beyond. Go to tutiaskate.com to shop, and while you're there, make sure you grab your ticket for the skate camp. It's called the East Coast Scramble. It's happening in October, so hopefully I'll see you there. Thank you, Tutias. Now back to the show.
I have so many questions. I can't wait.
So let's welcome them in. Welcome, Nadia and Forrest.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.
So go ahead and introduce yourselves for people that don't know you, who you are.
Okay. I'm Nadia. I'm here at Derby Warehouse, and my pronouns are she, whatever. I don't really have a preference. And yeah, just a roller skater and a skater.
Yeah. And my name is Forrest. I go by Odd Job in Derby circles, he, him. And I am primarily a Derby player. Trying to get more into park skating and other things, but Derby is my cup of tea.
Yeah. And then I'm primarily a park skater, but I do all the skating and started blading too. And yeah.
Oh, nice. Blading. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
I'm a bladey now.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm changing. But it's good. It's fun. I like how different they both feel. And it's just always fun being on wheels and in general.
Yeah, I like how blades just come ready. There's not really too much parts. It's not like the jigsaw puzzle that quad skates are.
Especially for park setups. They really got it dialed in. It's really cool. They're so perfectly made for it. But roller skating is still growing, and we're improving in a lot of ways, I think.
Well, that's really exciting. So we wanted to talk about Derby House and kind of the origin story and how you guys came on board as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where I'll jump in. I've been at this company since 2012 is when they brought me in. I actually started shopping at Inline Warehouse is one of our sister companies. They sell hockey gear. And I was a hockey player. And in 2006, Derby was just getting started in this area, and hockey and Derby kind of intersected. And it led to the Derby girls at that time complaining to the hockey store that they needed more stuff. They needed wheels, they needed boots, they needed skates. They couldn't find it anywhere except online. And so from 2006 to 2008, the hockey store here, Inline and Ice Warehouse, actually started bringing in some kind of quad product. And that was kind of the beginnings of Derby Warehouse. In 2008, we actually rebranded and claimed the URL and the name and launched Derby Warehouse. And then I joined the team in 2012 and have been here ever since.
Yeah. I joined about 2 years ago. Yeah, lifetime skater. I've been skating since I was 2. And then I saw a job listing for here and I was like, no way. And then I wrote like a cover letter that was basically like a love letter to skating. And I was like, I just love it all. I want to be like involved. Like I'm in. And they're like, yeah, like please.
It worked.
Yeah, it was fun. It was probably the most fun I've ever had writing a cover letter too, because I was like something that I was like super in love with. And yeah, that's kind of how we're both here now.
Yeah. And obviously we started Derby Warehouse, started to cater to roller derby. And over the years, we've definitely expanded, obviously, into outdoor skating, fitness skating, park, and even more recently, dance now is our latest kind of foray into the world of roller skating. Is the dance scene, which is pretty foreign to me, at least. So we're having fun learning about that and picking up product and stuff like that. So we really, our goal, even though we are Derby Warehouse, is to cater to all roller skaters.
Yeah, all skaters in general, especially like inline too. Like it's kind of cool that it's all crossing over because it's just all the skaters together. Anyone with a wheeled boot.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I bought from Derby Warehouse countless times by now. And you know, we're so excited to have you on because we have so many questions. And it's interesting to hear as well that because when you hear Derby Warehouse, I'm thinking, all right, so it's just Derby stuff. But you're saying you got all the skate stuff now. Yes. You got a whole range of different things.
We definitely kind of cornered ourselves into the Derby market with the name, not realizing what we were getting into in 2008. And there were discussions about switching the brand name from Derby into something like Roller Skate Warehouse. But at this point, we'll see what happens. But Derby's carried us this far, and Derby's definitely our bread and butter. But like we said, we learned from Derby a lot about how that circle of roller skating is just one tiny little circle of roller skating out there.
Yeah.
And once we realized that, we started going out and trying to attract everyone and service everybody out there.
Yeah, when they hired me, they're like, whoa, park skater? Like, because I've been park skating for 10 years, but I'm not, like, I wasn't that into gear until working here and until, like, well, I met, like, estrogen, and then she really changed my mind on gear. And then, yeah, it was kind of like a ball rolling from there. And yeah, it's so interesting. Like, there's so many things that you can do to improve your skates all the time, like no matter what discipline that you're in. And it's just so awesome to learn about all of it and now know about all of it. And yeah, I love that about this.
Yeah. And when I personally was shopping for Derby Warehouse, it was when I was starting in Derby too. And I didn't really know a lot, but I found like compared to other skate websites, it was a lot easier to navigate what you needed to get, and there was just different ways to like categorize each section.
Yeah.
And like my brain just needs like to things broken down a little bit more, especially because like I said, like roller skates really are like this annoying jigsaw puzzle. It's not the same for everybody. Like you really need to accommodate to your own body and your own style of skating. So I found it really helpful how it was just laid out easy, and it was just clear that like they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And they're not just selling us stuff.
No, we're nerds about it. We're like really nerdy.
Yeah, that is important to us. We don't just want to sell and make money, and that's not our goal. We want to put skates on people's feet and have them enjoy it. That's the number one goal.
And teach them what products are best for them too, because we're all so different. Like we were talking about this earlier, that like even with different disciplines, like there can be the perfect setup, but it's really like what's perfect to you. Like, what do you like about it? Like, what do you want your wheels to feel like? And it's kind of cool that it's a jigsaw puzzle, because then you can customize it all and you can get like that perfect rolling feeling.
I actually heard about Derby Warehouse from YouTube when I was researching like what skates to get. You know, Nadia, I saw your beautiful face on the YouTube videos, like try to understand. I think I was trying to figure out how to put my slide block, the CIB slide block, onto my boot. And your video was there, and I was like, oh my goodness, thank God that this was your. And then I went to the website, and that's, you know, kind of how I found out about it and, you know, bought things from there. And it's
Yeah.
awesome to hear that it's just like all wheels are welcome.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's why we do those product videos too, to kind of like let people know, like, this is what it looks like. I know that you're on the computer, but like, this is how it feels. And this is how I'm explaining it so that you can decide if you want to buy it or not. It's not like to sell you on it. It's just like do you want this? Like, this is all the features of it. This is just the
Mhm.
truth. We're not really like giving bias into them either. We're just kind of spitting
Yeah,
facts.
you're just like, ooh, look at this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But so speaking of, all wheels welcome and Derby Warehouse and being this kind of like hub for skating in general, just all different types of skates, no matter what you're skating on. Today's topic, we're talking about derby. We're talking about roller derby.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. I know you have a background in roller derby.
Mine, yes. Yeah, I think I mentioned I started roller derby in 2006 as an official. The local derby team here recruited us from hockey and made a few of us, and I do mean made, they voluntold us that we were going to help. And refereed for a number of years and then turned to training and coaching the team here. And then that eventually became playing for a number of years. And then COVID happened, and now I'm just back to reffing now. Kind of stepped back from a lot of the heavier responsibilities of coaching and playing and stuff like that. And I'm pretty much a full-time official now, again, where I started.
What team were you with?
Central Coast Roller Derby is the local league here, and I've been with them since their very beginning, 2006.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. Served on the
so-
board a couple times and things like that, but yeah, I'm just enjoying the low key stress of officiating.
Yeah, I'm on the board of mine, and it's a lot,
It's
but
so
I'm
much.
happy to do it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So like a lot of our listeners are definitely not from the derby world, so we kind of wanted to offer like a 101. Obviously, we're not going to be able to cover everything.
Yeah.
It's a lot and it's constantly changing. But if you just want to kind of give the rundown of what is the game of roller derby and how it's played.
Yeah, of course. So roller derby, the modern iteration of roller derby, mostly takes place on a flat track. A lot of people may be familiar with the old style of roller derby that's played on bank tracks and some of the more theatrical roller derbies of previous decades. But the modern iteration is a very, very athletic, very competitive sport played on flat track. There is banked track, but it's very hard to find banked tracks. So the grassroots major portion of derby now is flat track, and that consists of two teams, and those teams can be up to 20 players, but they will field, I think it's up to 16 now. I'm so out of touch, but I think it's 16 players per team, and they will field 5 at a time on the track. And the track is essentially a little oval, like if you imagine a little racetrack, that's kind of what we're talking about. And each team will field 5 players, and one of those players on each team is a jammer. That person wears a star on their helmet, and essentially the really short version is that jammer will try to race around the track, and they get points for lapping opposing blockers. So the goal is essentially to stop the other team's jammer and help yours through. And these happen in 2-minute stints, 2-minute intervals, or less if the lead jammers call it off. And I don't know, there's so much more to that. I can keep going and going and going, but that's the gist of it. It's essentially 2 packs of opposing players that are jostling, blocking, fighting tooth and nail to create space and take space away for jammers.
Yeah. So I think like the most biggest question I get is just like, so are you guys out there just like punching and throwing elbows?
Right.
Like,
Right.
so kind of explain like what the hits are, because it is a full contact sport and a lot of people
Yes.
don't understand what that means.
It is definitely a full contact sport. It is one of the fullest contact sports, and I've played a lot of them. So what you are allowed to do legally in roller derby is block with mostly the torso of your body. From your shoulders down to your mid-thigh, you are allowed to make contact essentially to that same area on an opponent. And you can do that several ways. You can do that just by kind of rubbing up against them and holding them in place, or being in front of them and stopping, or you can take the big swooping swinging hits and kind of lay body checks on people to try and clear them out or hit them out of bounds or knock them down. So there's all kinds of different kinds of blocking, but that is the legal portions typically have to happen like around the torso. And illegal things include tripping and elbowing and hitting in the head. Pretty typical sporting rules on that front. And that's where the referees come in. There's actually up to seven referees that will officiate any one game of roller derby. So there's lots of eyes watching because there's so many moving parts. But yeah, our goal as officials is to keep everyone safe. Essentially, that's what we're out there to make sure nobody gets hurt. And when you put that many strong, athletic people on wheels and then put them on concrete, that job gets pretty rough sometimes.
Yeah, that's why I always tell people, like, if they are interested in derby but they don't want to hit, like, there's so many other jobs, and like reffing, you're still extremely involved and you're still skating the whole time. So it's definitely an option if you don't want to get hit. I know a lot of our friends are like, no.
I know that was the first thing I said. Like when you were like, "Oh, come to derby practice," I was like, "I don't want to get hit." And I was like, "I'm sensitive. I don't want to." You're like, "You can ref."
Yeah. Just start working on your whistling, and then people have to listen to you. It's great.
So speaking of, so I'm new to derby, and we're just starting out, and I don't have my derby set up yet. So I was hoping,
on Moxie's,
right? You're on Park Stars.
Yeah,
right now I'm on my Moxie Jack boots with the Chuff skates, Brunny Hardcore wide trucks, and
which is a fantastic park setup.
It's a great park setup, and I got the Avanti mags. On there.
Do you have park wheels on there too when you're doing?
I have the Fun Days, the Moxie Fun Days on there.
You're wild.
Yeah, so
and she's still blocking effectively somehow. So when she gets the skates, it's just gonna be
crazy. I am getting like a lot of Charlie horses like in my legs. Like I'm getting the meanest cramps. So and I'm hoping that I want to get my derby set up from Derby Warehouse. And I'm hoping y'all can like help me decide or like steer me, maybe give me like 3 different options of skates that maybe I could look into, something like a dream setup and like a mid-range, and then something a little more affordable.
Yeah, Forrest prepared like a whole trio for you.
Yeah, I did. I came so prepared. And it's good you came to us with those levels. You picked those levels of kind of dream, mid-level, and entry level. And that's exactly how we kind of approach the products on our site. We call them entry level, which is the beginner level, competitive, which is the intermediate, kind of one step up from beginner. Maybe you're not quite committed to being a world-class athlete yet. And then we have that elite category, and that is the world-class stuff. That is the dream setups. That is the most expensive stuff, of course. But that's actually kind of how we approached it. We kind of figured those are the 3 levels of skater if we were to break them down. And we can just jump right in. The most affordable package is what we call the entry level. And for this point, a lot of people will just buy a beginner skate setup, like an R3. The Rydell R3 is a very popular, it's definitely the most popular, the go-to beginner skate for roller derby. The one I built out, we actually built out component by component. So it is going to be a little bit pricier than what you could get for like a beginner setup, because we are picking and choosing and building our components here. So know that you could get a beginner skate for under $200, and that skate will be just fine for your first season or so. The package we've built is going to be probably a step above that. But
the packages that come all set up too, like those are like more affordable because the manufacturers have them all in one place, so they can put a lower price on it too. So that's something to take into consideration. But this is a pretty like good affordable like the first one.
Yeah. And one of the perks to building your own is you can always replace component by component, so if you want to upgrade just your boot later, it's pretty easy. If you want to upgrade just your plate later, it's pretty easy. So we started though with the SureGrip Rebel boot, is our first entry level boot. And I chose that one for the entry level package because there actually aren't a lot of beginner boots available as boot only. So like the R3 I mentioned earlier, they don't actually sell the R3 boot by itself. And that's kind of true of a lot of the lower end packages. So one of the first entry level boots is the SureGrip Rebel, and it is a leather boot. So you kind of get an introduction to the world of skate boots, which is pretty different than shoes. So the Rebel is going to be leather, does have a rubber outsole, which isn't great, but these are some of the sacrifices you're going to make at a lower level. And then the plate I've chosen for that is the Item Pilot Viper. And so for this beginner package, I chose a nylon plate, a plastic plate. And a lot of people will come in and be like, well, I need a metal plate. It's the strongest stuff. I got to have it. But really, plastics have come so far in how rigid and stable they can be that a nylon plate, a plastic plate, isn't the worst thing in the world. They won't offer the same strength as a metal plate, of course, but you can save a lot and still get a lot of performance out of these. So I chose Adam's Pilot Viper here. It's a nylon plate with fiberglass reinforcement, so it's still pretty stiff, and it'll perform at a good level for being kind of a low-end plastic plate, if you will. And for the wheels, I chose Sonar Auras. These are kind of new from the Rydell factory. This is an entry-level wheel. I think they do put it on one of their R3 packages. The R3 Derby has these wheels on it. Just a good, inexpensive beginner wheel that'll feel good and stable, and
they're really affordable too.
Slides, yeah.
Yeah, we're
Googling.
Yeah, we're on the side. No, I'm really picking out my skates for real. Like this is actually.
Are you in the builder right now?
Well, we're gonna add to cart right now. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So we're just gonna see, like, I need to see my options first, and then kind of like look at what I have too, and kind of see, like, what do I even need to get, maybe sacrifice one of my boots that are already built and just like take the plate off of that. And
that is a very common way to go. A lot of people, at the end of the day, you are looking at $300, $400, $500 or more to build a set of skates like this. And that's a big commitment for a lot of people. And so doing it piece by piece is totally something you can do. You don't have to send it all at once. You can do just a boot and a plate and use some crappy old wheels you have for now. You know what I mean? Like, you can definitely kind of pace it out and plan it out, that you don't have to just drop it all at once.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing with my park skates. Yeah. It's like taken me months to like build what I exactly want, because I want to make sure I have what I want instead of just like jump the gun because I'm rushing to build a set that I have when I have parts,
Yeah, you learn your own preferences too off of that.
Yes.
Again, as we go through this, a lot of this was like me picking kind of like my packages. There's so much. Like, everybody has their own favorite toe stop. Everybody has their wheel preferences. Like, it's totally, the only way to really learn is to use. And so if you are in a league, I definitely recommend talking to your league mates.
Yes.
Hey, can I borrow those wheels for a practice? Hey, can I try those toe stops? Do that as much as you can, especially when you're new, and you will get exposed to so many products. You'll be like, oh my God, I never would have tried those. I love those wheels now. I'll never buy anything else. Cannot recommend. Just try, ask around and try so many things. And you'll definitely start to learn your taste.
Yeah, I like the Derby community because of that, because they're really into like the products, not so much like everything needs to be like Radar, everything needs to be Bont. Like, it really is, a lot of people have tried everything, or they have a lot of things lying around for you to try. A lot of the first pairs of wheels I had were given to me by my teammates. And toe stops and things like that, because I just pulled up with my setup, and they're like, oh, you need help.
Yeah, I was just letting y'all know that's what we're doing on the computer. We're not just As you're mentioning them, I'm like, what's that? What's that? What's that? What's that?
Sure. I'll
Yeah.
I'll slow down just a hair then, and so when we talk about boots, I'll say this: I chose the Rebel here, and each of the boots we've chosen for Derby are low cut boots. So you mentioned having jacks. Jacks are a high top boot, right? And they're pretty stiff and supportive up past your ankle joint. And that's going to limit your ability to get low into plows and really execute a lot of things that Derby requires you to do. So the boots we're going to choose here are all low cut. They're all very mobile, very flexible. They're going to allow you to get deep into slides and plows and things like that, and have full mobility from your ankle.
Ooh, I'm nervous about that low cut boot, but I'm excited, but I'm nervous.
It gets comfy once you get used to it.
Yeah, it is scary. A lot of people like the support that they get from high top boots, but the best support you can do is all inside your ankle. Train your ankles, do strength training, do flexibility training. The what's inside your ankle is what's going to keep you healthy, not the boot on the outside.
Yeah,
Ooh,
like
love that.
Barbie's Kismet, like in Park Talk, like those are so low cut, but she probably has the strongest ankles ever.
Yeah,
because she like only uses those, which is crazy. But like those, you will get stronger ankles, although it is a learning curve.
For sure. So we got the Rebel boot. I've got a nice, inexpensive nylon Pilot Viper plate. Again, inexpensive Sonar Aura wheels. For wheels, Derby, we've seen wheels now go from 45 millimeters up to 72 millimeters in height. We just have an outrageous window of wheel sizes now for all kinds of roller skating. Derby, the most popular wheel size in Derby is a 59 millimeter tall and 38 millimeter wide. That size of wheel dominates the Derby market right now. It's kind of short enough to be quick to accelerate and narrow enough that it's responsive and you get nice clean edging. You can go taller, you can go shorter, you can go wider, you can go narrower, but that 59 by 38 millimeter wheel is kind of the bread and butter of Derby right now. And I think all of the wheels I've chosen are 59 by 38. So the Sonar Auroras definitely are. And for the bearings inside of those, on the most affordable package, here's a selfless plug for our own inline warehouse bearings.
Y'all have bearings.
I didn't know that.
They're really good.
They are branded by our sister company that I mentioned earlier, Inline Warehouse. They're the ones that sell all the inlines, obviously.
Yeah.
But a number of years ago, we realized that we could get the same quality of bearings as some pretty reputable brands. We actually get our bearings from the same factory, and we are able to pass those savings that we get on to our customers. So we have some excellent bearings, and we can do excellent deals on them. So what I've chosen for our first package is our ABEX 7 bearings, and they retail for $30. But when you buy any 8 set of wheels, or 8 wheels total, not 8 sets, they actually half off. So an ABEX 7 set of bearings would be $15 for this package at the end of the day.
That's crazy.
So that's what I've chosen for this one. Saves us a bunch of money. And last but not least, the toe stop. Chose the Roller Derby Elite Super Bounce toe stop. Is an excellent material, good toe stop, pretty inexpensive. I don't want to call it cheap because it's not cheap. It's a fantastic toe stop for $20. Really good for Derby. Really good response and stopping power, and lasts a long time. It's a good toe stop. So that would round out my beginner package. And what I have that stickered at, I think if my math is correct, is $290. So we do get you in under $300, and nice. you get, I don't even want to call it a beginner package, because you really, this could take you through your first 2 or 3 seasons of Derby. I think it's a good entry level package. It's a fantastic entry level package.
I like that.
That's a great price. And those are really great.
I like those toe stops
to start.
Yeah. So there's a lot of the perks. And like I said, you could go out and get an R3 for like $160 or something like that. And it would be just great for your first season. You're getting upgraded components basically all around on that. So you're getting a better toe stop, you're getting a better plate, you're getting a slightly better boot, you're getting better bearings. So you are going to pay a premium to get up to $300 on this package, but you are going to be able to make this last longer than an R3 would. So that's what you're paying for to get.
See, and this is
like
this is why we ask you. This is why we ask you, because
professional.
Yeah, because it is easy to just like, all right, buy the package, let's go, you know, and rip through those really quick. But it's awesome to have the option to, I mean, you know, you have the knowledge of all a combination to where you can kind of get, you know, where you need to go, best bang for your buck, you know.
Yeah,
and that's also Derby Warehouse has Afterpay.
Yeah, we have Afterpay.
Lots of options
Lots of
there.
payment options.
All right. So then jumping into the next one, this is what you called a reasonably priced package. I think we call this our competitive. Like this is a step up. You've played your first season or 2 or even 3. You decide like, okay, I think I could go for the travel team. You know, I think I might want to go to a tournament. I think I might, you want to step up your game. Get some higher performance out of these. But I have also kept this still price conscious. We haven't completely opened the bank account to make this package happen. So to start here, I've chosen the Roller Derby Elite Legacy boot. This is a new one from them, I think last year, 2022. And it's a really, really good boot for $164 is the sticker price right now. You get full grain leather. You have a leather outsole, just dramatic upgrades all around from what you typically see on beginner boots, where you don't have real leather and you have things like a rubber outsole. These are all pretty significant steps up in quality for the RD Elite Legacy boot.
It's also stitched and it has like really nice little heel cups too, with like smooth suede on the inside. So it's a really nice feeling boot.
Yeah. And that boot, little bit of a plug here, that actually comes from Tony Muse, Peter Pan in roller derby circles. He's a world-class athlete, world-class speed skater, world-class derby player. And he kind of helms Roller Derby Elite and makes some really good products that skaters, he makes them for skaters. He knows what skaters want, and he delivers on that. Some really good product. So we're starting with the Legacy boot on this competitive package. Moving on to the plate, I've chosen the Rollline Blaster. And I think probably bang for buck, that might be one of the best plates on the market. At 180,
I've heard good things about Rollline.
Rollline itself is a fantastic company. They're headquartered in Italy. They're known for their artistic and figure boots and kind of skating. But they do have a little kind of niche derby catalog, and just is world-class stuff. I know I keep saying that word, but
it's good.
It's fantastic stuff, really high quality. And so for $180, what you get out of the Blaster plate, it's very light. It has fantastic action. It has giant cushions. You'll notice is kind of what's unique to Rollline, and that really adds a lot of response and just really good feel to that plate. And it's under $200, which is pretty crazy for that plate, and what it does. I stuck with Rollline. So for wheels on this one, I actually stayed with Rollline. Again, I chose their Emperor wheel. And so Rollline, kind of rolling off their plates, they do a lot of really quality pours with their wheel. I haven't really seen a material like Rollline's material. And one of the unique things about Rollline wheels is they actually come bald. And a lot of people will think that the tread you see on a new derby wheel, if you look at a new derby wheel, it kind of has like tire tread in it. And a lot of people think that's the grip of a wheel. It totally isn't. That's just a byproduct of them shaving the wheel down to size. Once those ridges are gone, your wheel is actually better because it has more contact with the playing surface. So Rollline actually their wheels are so perfect that they don't actually have those ridges. So they're already bald. They're already like flat and ready to just be maximum performance right out of the package.
These look
I'm a
really
big fan.
light, like in weight.
They are.
Yeah.
And that is a theme across roll line too. The blaster, for being an alloy plate, is quite a bit lighter than other plates in that market, like a Bont Tracer or a Powerdyne Reactor Neo. The blaster will be quite a bit lighter than them. That is a theme with roll line for sure. And so then with the Emperor wheels, I've chosen Bones Super Reds bearings. I had to throw some Bones in there for bearings somewhere because everybody knows Bones. Everybody loves Bones. I chose for this one the Super Reds, the upgraded Reds at $60. I skated on those for a number of years. Really like those bearings. They're long lasting. They're well built. You can you mentioned earlier, you can kind of abuse a little bit and get away with not treating them the nicest, and they'll hold up really, really well. And then for the toe stop, I actually skipped the toe stop on this package because the blaster plate will actually come with one. And kind of unique to roll line, it will be a metric toe stop. So most, and I say most, it's almost all modern skates will use an imperial toe stop that is 5/8. And so Powerdyne, Sure Grip, Crazy, Kaya, they all use imperial. But roll line actually uses a metric toe stop. And so you can't use normal imperial toe stops in them. So I've just gone with the toe stop that'll come with the plate. And when it comes time to replace it later, I just have to know that I need a metric toe stop, which is fine because I'll just buy a roll line toe stop anyway.
One
You'll
more
ruin the
time,
threading.
what does metric mean? What does that mean? One more time.
There are two primary sizes of toe stop stem. The most common one, like I said, is imperial. It's the US thread. It's a 5/8 inch stem. And there are a few, roll line's one of them, that makes, because they're made in Italy, they actually have a metric system. They don't use the imperial 5/8 that we use. They use I don't know if it's M16 or 17. It's a very slightly different
M16,
size than the 5/8 imperial. The difference between metric and imperial, right?
Okay. I was scared for a second. I was like, oh, new fear unlocked. Buying a toe stop I didn't know.
No. And like I said, 98%, it's an overwhelming majority of plates have imperial housings, and 98% of toe stops you see on the market are imperial US threaded toe stops. So you really only have to be careful. And it's marked pretty well on our site. If you go to a metric toe stop, it'll say metric.
Yeah, like don't get it because it's metric. But also sometimes you do need metrics. Like Rainbow Riders use metric.
That's true, absolutely. There are kind of exceptions out there that have metric toe stops.
It's just imported skates sometimes, but not often. And it used to be more common, I think, right?
Yeah, the market's definitely shifted to try and get 5/8 to be universal.
Yeah,
for sure.
Wow, I didn't even.
Yeah,
I've been skating. I had no idea there was different metric toe stops. I had no idea.
Yeah. It doesn't. You won't encounter it too much, really, unless you go out and seek a plate like roll line with a metric toe stop. You really won't encounter it, and so you probably haven't seen it. It makes totally sense.
The only real problem that you'll have if you mix them up too is you'll just ruin the housing, the threading.
No big deal.
So you'll end up stripping the threading inside, and then you'll have to send our skates into us, and we'll fix them for you. And we do it all the time.
Yeah.
So that package, are reasonably priced, our competitive mid-level package. I have it tagged out at $491. So just under $500 for this package. And this is, anybody could use this. You could build this as a beginner and feel really great in it. You could buy this and go to WFTDA nationals and perform just fine in this, like excel. This isn't going to hold you back from being elite, even though it's a mid-level package. What we've really done here is try to get the highest performance components possible without breaking the bank. So you're still getting some really great performance out of this package and trying to keep it under $500. And so that's what we've done for that mid-level.
Nice. Tell us the big one.
Yeah, and the one
What's the
everybody
dream
wants.
setup?
The big
Right?
one.
The dream
The
setup.
dream setup. The blank check.
The blank check. I like that.
That's a great.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So for me, and this is where I'm gonna again just get into how much of this is preference. When you take away the restrictions of a budget, you can really do some fun things with escape builds. And so for me, for Derby, I've chosen the Bont Hybrid Carbon boot. I've always been a fan of Bont. I skated in their previous Super B boot for a while that doesn't exist anymore. So I have experience there. I know it fits my foot really well. And that's a big, big thing because like Nadia mentioned before, we were talking about this. She doesn't like how Bont fits her.
It's a weird ick, but I don't like how they look like feet. Like generally, I don't like that about Bont, but I do like some Bont boots. Like I really like the Quad Star. I really like the fit of that one. If I were to go dream skate, I would probably choose an AR2 just because it's so versatile. Then I could use it for other things after. But that's also like the save money in my head. That's like then you could use it for all these other things, even though it's like a $500 boot. But
I have seen this boot in person and it is beautiful.
and
And
it feels so good.
Yeah, I'm sure they feel amazing.
They are clean. Those are nice.
It's very Bont is very clean. Clean's a great word. So that boot you're looking at, that hybrid carbon, that's actually going to have a carbon fiber base. So we've been talking about the outsoles of these boots a lot. The first package, the Rebel, had a rubber outsole, and everybody knows rubber to be pretty pliable and flexible. You know, it's not extremely stiff material.
Not super responsive.
Yeah. And so the second package, we got a full grain leather outsole, which is going to be far more stiff and rigid, far better of a base than that rubber. And for the blank check package, we've just gone to the extreme. We've got carbon fiber, right, which is extremely stiff. So you are just getting maximum response out of this thing, and support and stability doesn't really get any better than carbon fiber.
And it's the lightest in weight too. So like anything that's made with carbon fiber, like that's like race performance quality. Yeah. Like there's a lot of Bont boots that are just inline skates that are also like made mostly of carbon, and they are like the top tier ones. Yeah. So Bont is very well known in the inline racing scene. They win lots of championships and medals and races all around the world, and Bont inlines and they've definitely kind of transitioned that expertise into their roller skates as well. So that's why I've chosen that one. It does have a hefty price tag, $360. And I'm actually going to send that even higher, because one of the things you can do with a lot of higher end boots is customize them. And so, like you mentioned, the AR2 is fully customizable. You can send that to Rydell, and they'll color labs. Oh, you just go crazy with getting custom colors and designs. So fun. You can do the same thing with the Bont Hybrid Carbon. So I would, like I said, if I had a blank check, I'm probably also going to take that boot and go get some nice pretty colors put on it, and have some heel rises put in, maybe a toe bumper. I'm going to send it with the extra customizations on it, you know? I have a question for you about that, actually. Sure. So the color customizations, I've heard that in Derby, it's like not very cool to have colorful setups. Like it's more cool to have black setups. What? I don't see that. No? Okay. No. Someone told me that. They're like, it's not cool, wear cheetah print cool. Like pads. Like you don't do that in Derby. And I was like, really? Like why? Is this person a Derby? I don't know. I was like, I'm doesn't sound like I'm like often pretty expressive. So I'm like, why wouldn't like you have jazzy things if you No, I would hard counter that person and say that Derby is the most expressive organization I've ever been a part of. So you can wear more than black, guys. Man, please, yeah.
Is it like a league thing, or
I don't know.
I don't know. I do come across players that just
thing.
take it more seriously, and they're like, "We're athletes. We're not here to like dress up." But like, I'm there to dress up too and be an athlete.
Yeah,
like,
there are. There's lots of. I mean, sure. And if you get to the highest levels of like WFTDA play, certainly the teams there have uniform requirements, and they all match and look great together. So they're sure, but like. At the grassroots level, where people are just coming to skate and have fun, like have fun with the look. It's all about expression. It's all about wear what you want, act how you want, be who you are.
Yeah.
I'm getting cheetah print. Damn it.
Yeah, get it.
Perfect
No, I
cheetah
want more
print.
fun customs for Derby
Yeah.
setups. That's what I want.
I agree.
So we would definitely send it with some extra customization on our dream setup. Moving on to the plate, another shameless plug from my own bias here. I've chosen the Atom Pilot Falcon plate.
I've heard of this one.
That is a plate I have been on since, at least 10 or 12 years now. And I actually, here's a good plug for it. I actually broke it, I think 8 years. 8 years it lasted me of pretty intense play and skating, and I finally snapped like the toe stop part of the plate off and emailed Adam, and Adam sent me a new base plate within a week, because the Falcon actually has a lifetime guarantee. So if you break one of those, it's just as easy as, hey, I broke this, and new plate.
It's a really good plate for park
yeah,
too.
I really
Super
lucked
compatible.
out with these because I have these on I have the Blue Street
you?
Rydels. And my dad went to the skate shop in my hometown in New York for a Christmas gift. And the guys that own that shop were like Derby players. They knew everything, and they just like really talked him into like getting a really nice setup. So this was what they chose, and they were like, trust me, this is what she wants.
It's an
So,
awesome plate.
I
And it comes
love
in fun
them.
colors once
They
again.
steered you right. And again, if you take the budget out of things, you can really go crazy with plates. There's a lot of expensive roll line plates. Like the Powerdyne Aureus is a $300 plus plate. So you can definitely get more expensive than a $220 Falcon. But man, I personally, I love this plate. You can do colors. It's got the guarantee. It's what I would put on my dream package, even though there are significantly more pricey plates. This is the one I would pick.
It's super lightweight too. Like it's a metal plate, but it feels like nothing. Like it feels lighter than like even the other super light metal plates that like kind of advertises that. So I think that's an important thing about it too.
Yep. And you'll notice, the components are getting lighter. The more you pay, that's kind of the trade-off in a lot of these, is kind of like as they get up in price, you do get a lot of really cool functionality and materials and things like that. But generally, the weight is going to come down as you get more expensive things. And then, of course, as soon as I say that, the one exception here would be my wheels that I've chosen, which are the Radar Halo alloys. I know Radar Halos are our best-selling Derby wheel by far, and it is a fantastic wheel. So what I've done is gone the little extra mile here and gotten the Halos with the alloy hubs. And what that'll do is much stiffer response, because you don't have a plastic hub in the wheel that's going to flex a little bit. You have that alloy in there that's just going to provide firm response to the tire. So it's going to be a very responsive wheel. Excellent tire that they've got on that's really responsive and easy to slide. So you can really get into plows and stuff very easily. Big fan of the Halos. And so without a budget, I've sent it with the Halo alloys for this package. And good thing about those is there's a wide range of harnesses. So with wheel harnesses, everybody's going to have their own preference based on what they're skating on. So if you're skating on like sticky wood, you might want a really, really hard wheel. And if you're on something like slick concrete, then you might want a lot softer of a wheel. And the good thing about Halos is they've got a wide range of harnesses. So no matter what you're skating on, there's a Halo for you out there.
Nice.
Yeah. And then for our bearings that we're going to put in there, I'm going to my favorite brand of bearings that aren't our own. That's cheese balls. Cheese balls have been around Derby and pretty I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is, integrated into Derby. A lot of marketing efforts to get these bearings out to the Derby community because they are pre-spun and just really, really durable. You pull these things out of the box, and a lot of times, a lot of bearings have grease and oil and a lot of stuff in it that they kind of don't spin right away. and you pull a cheese ball out, and it's been pre-spun already for you. So the grease and oil and everything's already worked into the bearing. You pull it out, you spin it, and it'll just go for days. And yeah, big fan of cheese balls. So that's what I've sent with their Swiss ceramics, their highest end. And to wrap it all up, I chose a Gumball Super Ball toe stop. That's that big honking Gumball Super Ball with the inserts in it, and just a big wide toe stop that has a huge surface area. So you get a lot of stopping power out of it. You get a lot of starting power out of it. If you're big into bracing in roller derby, which is actually playing backwards and supporting your pack while skating backwards, a lot of that will use toe stops, and having a big contact patch on your toe stop can add a lot of stability and power to your blocking that way. So just a big toe stop to round it all out. And that package, before any customizations, comes in at $929.
Ooh. Almost a stack. Ooh.
Almost, and we could definitely get there with the customization.
Yeah.
It's easy to spend money buying roller derby gear.
It's crazy,
for real.
What would you say are some like things to keep in mind when you're looking for your setup? I would, like as far as like derby goes, would it be just kind of like just some things to think about, like you said before, like kind of see where you're skating and what you're going to need for like what you're skating on and those type of things.
I think to that, it would be wheels. Wheels is so surface dependent and so preferential player to player that like that is probably going to have the biggest single impact in like what your skates feel like. Because if you have the wrong wheels, like it really is a detriment. Like even if it's just the right, even if you have a good derby wheel, but it's way too soft, then you're out there like sticking to the floor and you can't slide at all, and you risk rolling your ankles at that point, and injury comes into it. Like you just get crazy just because your wheel's too soft. And vice versa, if you need a really soft wheel for grip, but you have a really hard wheel, you're gonna be sliding around like it's ice. And again, that gets dangerous. So wheels, I think, are probably the biggest thing, is to really understand what their hardness, their durometer means to you and where you're skating.
What are you guys skating on? Like, what is the surface that you guys ride on?
Well, right now we were practicing at an outdoor concrete roller rink because the venue that we plan to be in is under construction. So eventually it's going to be, we're having our daily hurricane in South Florida.
Oh no.
I don't know if you heard that thunder.
It's like every day
No,
at the afternoon we get a huge storm, and then in 10 minutes we'll be ready to go to the beach.
It's sunshine.
Dude, I love Florida.
Yeah.
But so it will be a hardwood floor. So that is eventually what we will have. But it's been mostly outdoor.
Wood's great to skate on, but I mean, we out here in California, we are not unfamiliar with skating outdoors. A lot of leagues out here will skate on outdoor. CCRD, our local league, we actually share a hockey rink, and it's an outdoor hockey rink with just flat concrete. And it's a pretty nice surface. It's a pretty nice surface, but it is concrete and it is outdoors. And so just speaking to us specifically, our girls will typically wear anything from 90A to 98A, maybe 96. So somewhere in the low 90s. And the really quick refresher on that is that wheels will have a hardness assigned to them on a durometer scale from 78A up to 100A. And some wheels will cheat and go past 100A, even though that doesn't technically exist. You'll see some wheels say 101, 103. And so the higher the number there, the harder the wheel. And typically the harder the wheel, the less grip you'll get. And so as you shop, I think that would just be the thing, is like, where am I skating? Am I mostly skating on outdoor concrete? Then I should probably look for like a low 90s wheel. If I'm skating on nice indoor rink wood, then I can definitely get into the higher 90s because I don't need a bunch of grip. The wood's going to give me the grip. Sport court is a big one. Sport court and skate court is another one that offers a lot of its own grip. so you can sometimes go harder on wheels, things like that. Yeah, a lot of the other components, boots and toe stops, it's all. I don't think anybody can tell you what to like there or what to look out for. It's like you'll learn. You'll kind of learn as you go. Experience is the best teacher there.
Yeah. Play with your edges too, like the edges of wheels. I think that's important for just all skating, like kind of testing out wheels and seeing like what is your preference, because there's so many different styles.
Yeah.
And that's like really fun to find your favorite wheel.
Right. So as far as like we got boots now, but you still need all your safety gear. So my only real safety gear question is, are there really any differences between what you need for roller derby safety and what you need for park safety?
They're very similar.
Yeah.
They are pretty similar, because both sports are extremely high impact and a lot of times involve players falling sometimes from significant height and times onto concrete. And so in a lot of ways, they are very similar. A lot of the pads we sell are high impact. We don't typically recommend we do have lower impact, like recreational gear. And we are very careful to say that, like, hey, this stuff wouldn't be that great for roller derby. You're not, it's good for a Sunday afternoon skate, where you might fall on the trail in the park and protect yourself from some road rash. But if you took a big hit from somebody or a spill off a quarter pipe, it's not going to help you very much. So there are definitely levels from like recreational kind of casual gear. And then once you get into like the serious protection of derby and park, they are pretty much, you can cross over a lot there.
But then there's a difference from like park to vert, because you need really thick knee pads for vert.
Sure.
A lot of people still don't do it, but like you should be wearing really thick knee pads for vert. And I don't think you need that for derby, unless you wanted to, but like it wouldn't be necessary. And I feel like that would be too chunky.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. A lot of derby skaters don't like big bulky stuff. And so there was a movement in the protective industry to kind of like offer all the same protection, but shrink the pads down a lot. Like 187 Slims was kind of like the intention behind that, is like everybody loved 187 pros and pro derbies. It's one of the more popular pads in the industry. But they're big. They're big and bulky around your knees. So there's been a movement to kind of like shrink the pads and improve the technology of them so that they still protect you really well.
But it's another personal preference thing, because my falls are really impactful, so I really like the thick ones. And I think probably the biggest change I'll make when I'm back in derby is to get a face shield helmet, because I'm very short, so I was getting a lot of elbows and stuff to the face. So just to be safer, that's something I'm thinking about, is a face shield. I'm gonna look like a robot, but it's cool.
That'd be so cool.
It's good.
Yeah,
look cool. You can get the tinted visor and just look
tinted visor. So sick.
But yeah, helmets is the only one I'm kind of a stickler on. Everybody has their preference of pads. Some fit some people well, some they don't. But helmets is one that we really like to put our foot down and be like, no, buy good helmets, please. Don't buy cheap one-use helmets. Make sure your helmets are multiple impact, and please remember that even one serious impact on a multiple impact helmet probably does it in. People, if I had one complaint about protective gear over the years, it's that people don't replace their helmets enough.
Helmets are crazy too.
Wow.
Their
How do you
certifications
know?
are so interesting. We're still trying to navigate it, I feel like, but there are like some helmets that stand out from others, and then there's, I don't know, like the S one's obviously amazing. I think that's pretty well known.
Yeah. All the helmets, we don't carry helmets that I wouldn't feel comfortable putting on people. So
That's
like
true,
those cheap one-use helmets we don't have. And the helmets we do have, 888 S1 lifers are big. Those are multiple impact helmets. And I heard you say, how do you know? You can't. You can't. Essentially what happens is those are all based off of mostly EPA foam. And the impact to that foam will crack it. And that's what saves your head. But once that foam is cracked, it doesn't reabsorb. So So when they say that helmets are multiple impact, they're usually referring to the soft liners inside, because those liners will compress and then reabsorb to their previous shape. But the foams inside, like the hard shell of the helmet, those are breaking apart when they get hit, and they're not reconnecting to each other. So they're just kind of breaking apart in there in the helmet. So that's why any serious impacts you have with your helmet, definitely if you've had multiple serious impacts, your helmet's probably not protecting you like it was before.
Forrest uses hockey helmets.
Yes, this is where I was going to jump in with hockey helmets. It's been a decade-long fight for me to try and get derby skaters into hockey helmets, and it's been resistant to say the least. For some reason, they're not very comfortable, and they're very hot, but they will protect unlike anything, any bike helmet, any bike or skate helmet. Even a low-end hockey helmet offers significantly more protection than a higher-end skate helmet. So really, really cannot recommend enough hockey helmets.
That's really good advice as far as, replacing your helmet, because I'm sure at this point I need to replace my helmet.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even things as silly as throwing your helmet when you're done with practice, throw it off towards your bag.
Yeah,
you're probably breaking foam in it doing that.
Yeah. And helmets are made so interestingly to me. Like the certifications are all different. I'm like, well, which one's the best one? And they're like, oh, well, they just have to be certified. I'm like, well, but
certified here.
Yeah, certified where? And then like also there's like all these different technology words. Like I just learned that MIPS meant like multi-directional protection. So what it is that like all of your impacts, like so your head's round, and when you hit your head, the helmets protect you only for flat like hits. But since your head's round, you kind of need like a round protection. So what it does is it like distributes the impact to a rotational movement so that it doesn't affect your head. And it was crazy to me that not all helmets have that. And I'm like, well, if they're building it for heads and it doesn't protect around things, that doesn't make sense. Like, why did they make it?
Yeah, I mean, to that point, helmets were basically designed to prevent you from one fall, a direct fall. The helmet stops you from dying, and that's the function of the helmet. And what people are learning from hockey and derby, from having players moving in all directions at once and getting hit from all directions, not just one linear direction.
Yeah, and park because you're in transition.
That there are forces going on in your head that we didn't really know were happening before.
Yeah.
And so now technology is catching up to it. And obviously concussions are big in like the NFL, and we're always talking about major sports and concussions and head injuries. And it's definitely prevalent in roller derby with how physical and competitive and borderline violent the sport gets. Head injuries are to be taken pretty seriously, I think.
Yeah. Although they're not the biggest injury in roller skating in general. The biggest ones are your wrists and your knees, especially for beginners. A lot of beginners break their wrists, and then knees too, ankles happen. I mean,
yeah, that's one thing. Yeah,
I've seen a lot of broken ankles.
If you accept the life of a derby player, you're accepting a lot of injury risk.
Yeah. And also, since they are flat boots without a heel, you are more likely to fall backwards, which is the worst hit injury you can get. So that's also something, but it usually does put you in like a more forward stance anyway, so that you aren't falling back. But that's, I guess, just something to keep in mind. Yeah.
And Derby Warehouse, like, let's say I want to get one of these setups. Y'all set them up too?
Yeah, we build them. Yeah,
you build them?
Yeah, we are actually the two builders here in our California warehouse. I've been building skates even before I started working here in 2012. And now I've got Nadia on board. And so if you have any skate built through Derby Warehouse, it'll be one of us doing the legwork on it.
And we're interested in funky builds too.
Oh, we love them. We love it. With the expanse into park and outdoor and all kinds of other stuff, we now are getting some really fun build ideas, like go-go boots and high heels. we mounted a
where's our go-go boots?
My cowboy boots.
We mounted some cowboy boots for Nadia the other day.
They're super comfortable. I really like them.
Oh my god, I can't wait to see.
Give us your wildest dreams. We love seeing if we can do it.
Yeah. Usually, like the only thing that we couldn't see that we could do was Forrest got a really nice cowboy boot once that they were like, we want this to be roller skates, and he was like, I can't do it with good faith.
Yeah, somebody gave me like a $1,200 pair of cowboy boots, and it was just all too enclosed. There was no way to get into the boot without cutting it somehow. So I did. That's the one time I was like, no, I'm not comfortable doing it.
Keep these as shoes.
Yeah, maybe if they were less expensive boots, maybe. But,
All right, so I won't send you my Louboutin.
But... how big is the heel?
No, it was a joke.
It's a chunky.
But thank you so much for giving us this insight into the derby world and gear, and I'm sure we could go on and geek out about derby gear forever and ever.
Yeah. Thank you for offering us, like, the entire community this information, because even with your posts and your YouTube, like, it's so necessary to have these conversations with newer skaters, because it's dangerous, and you should be able to buy something that's actually good for you and will make you a better skater.
Yeah. And thank you so much for the platform to talk about it, because as you've seen on our site, that is something we want to do. We want to not just have product, we want to have videos, and not just product videos, but training videos and how-to videos. And we want to be a resource for people to learn and fall in love with skating, not just by product.
Yeah, we have a whole learning center too of like little articles and stuff that you can read if you're new to skating, and if you have a lot of questions, we explain everything.
Yeah, best of outdoor skates, best of roller. We do those kind of things.
Yeah, and if you ever send us a message, like we'll respond with like everything you need. Maybe we'll over explain sometimes, but
no, I love it. I like to know all the details about it.
If you've ever had an email exchange with me, I don't know when to stop talking.
No, I love it. We welcome it. We welcome it. We definitely want to have y'all back on. So if that's something you're interested in, like, I feel like there's just so much more to talk about, but for time,
we could pick one little subject and definitely do just hours.
We'd love that.
Yeah. But before we let you go, do y'all want to tell our viewers what y'all doing, what we doing, what we all doing
with our sponsorship?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We have a special announcement.
Sunday. You are now our affiliate, and we are also giving you a code so that you have a discount code for the customers, and that is good.
Yeah, we've set you guys up with a coupon code, and if you use that at checkout, you or your listeners or anybody you want to give it to, they can save 15% on their order.
Yeah.
And we are so excited.
So you guys are going to have your own code to save people some money, and we're also going to get you set up as an affiliate to get you a shopping link, so that if you have anybody shop through that link, Skate Sunday Podcast will actually get some dough back.
Yeah. Nice. Money to you.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So if you want to support the show, help us out, support Derby Warehouse. We'll post all the links on all of our episodes. So check it out. Help us out.
Thank you guys so much.
Yes. And thank you both for being on.
Yes.
All right. This is crazy. This is amazing.
So
first of all, I want to again give a big special thank you to Nadia and Forrest for just giving us all that information and blessing us
offering the community this service that just like is so needed. It is just amazing what they're offering us information wise, and like they are a business, but they are treating us like a community.
Right. Putting you, it's not like get this and get that because this is the best thing, or this is they're like really honest about
There's options for everyone, and honestly, with the cheapest option is so much cheaper than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Like I was like, there's no way you can build a setup that's like decent and safe enough.
There was no way. I thought that the most expensive one was gonna be over $1,000.
Really?
I really thought it was gonna be over $1,000.
Okay.
And Forrest still made it under $1,000.
Yeah, but that's how intimidating it is to have these conversations with people that know what they're talking about, because we have experience with people that it's just like, no, those are not gonna work. You know?
Right.
So it's really nice to have an open, knowledgeable person tell you these things, and they'll be able to work out the pricing with you too. There's like, they could work with you.
Yeah. And if you use
I can't even say it with a straight face. If you want to support this show, if you need a bearings, a t-shirt, socks, anything, you better buy it through our link.
Yes, you can buy skates, toe stops, gear, inline skates, all types of skates at Derby Warehouse. So check out the link. Help support the show. We get a kickback from whatever you buy. So, you know.
And that money goes just straight to the show, to us to make it better, to us buy more gear, to set it up, more lights.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely need some more some more things. Baby needs some new stuff for the shows though. Help support the show if you love us, and we love you. So
thank you for supporting us, and thanks for still being here.
Yeah, for real. Thank you so much. We are like blown away by the love and the support that we've seen for the show, and we love doing it. So, and if you love watching and listening, please let us know. Like, show us the love. Like this video, comment, rate us 5 stars on wherever you're listening to, thumbs up it, anything that will help our show get seen or push it up or anything, you know, just comment down below some hearts, anything.
And if you have any questions for us, we want to talk to you. We want to read your questions on the show. Email dearskatesunday@gmail.com. If you have any questions, if you just have a story to tell us or a skate experience you want to share, let us know. We'll read it on the show. It can be anonymous, or we can give you a shout out.
Yeah. Grievances. Anything. Tea. You want to tell us your little local tea. Let us know. Let us know at dearskatesunday@gmail.com. Again, thank you so much for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Rozy. You can find me at Rolling with Rozy.
And if you're looking for me, you can find me at Hey Shorty with 3 Y's and 2 underscores.
And if you're looking for us, you can find us at Skate Sunday. We got a link, bitch. Bye.
Bye.
I am blessed. I am blessed.